So I haven't made a video in a while, and it's because life has just been happening. So currently I was laying on my back looking at the clouds and watching the sky move. I don't know how many people know that, but the sky does actually move, like the clouds do actually move. And oftentimes we don't notice this because we are ripping and running, as well as like to really notice it, you would have to be laying on your back. And I was listening to Chris Hedges' video, and then my mind was just wandering. And I was thinking like wealth and wealth inequality and wealthy people and capitalism, like I always do, because this is what this channel has turned into, right? So I was like, how do you define wealth? Not like the Webster's dictionary version, not like from a specific diction point of view. More so like, how do you define it in regards to opposition, relatability, what it stands for, influence, and all that jazz? And I'm like, well, in that sense, wealth is essentially a small group of people who define themselves as the opposite of you, the working class, the poor class. Like that is what wealth is used for. That is what people aspire to have, is to literally define themselves in how opposite they are in relation. Most people, most working class people, poor class people, they may be renters, they may be homeowners, but they have a property or they live in a property that meets their needs. What do I mean by that? If you are a single person or you're a couple, you probably have a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom. You don't have a 15-bedroom, acres upon acres ranch with 32 parking garages, because like, what would be the point of that? Because it's only you and your significant other, or you as a single person. You don't need all that extra gaudy. You don't need all that extra lavishness, because it would be unuseful. And think about it. You, the working class or poor class, how would you even be able to maintain that? Do you know how long it would take you by yourself? Because most working class, poor class people, they clean their own living space, right? Most people don't have maids. So you would be cleaning that 32 garage door, luxury space storage garage. Then you'd be cleaning the 62 bathrooms and the 85 bedrooms and however living rooms, and they have to have the extra. So there's the movie theaters and the bowling alleys. Like, you would have to spend your whole day cleaning your living space, your home, your property. And how would you be able to maintain your livelihood, your existence, but also your means of paying for that lavish home that's probably going to kill you in utilities? Wealthy people do that. And yeah, I probably am hyperbolic. I am exaggerating on all the features that I mentioned, but they do have those luxury acres upon acres just for them to brag and show off. And I know their utilities bill has to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it'll just be like a celebrity, a single celebrity. So let's just like say it'd be like I don't know, Jack Harlow. Or it'll be like a Jaden Smith. It'd be like them young, cool, like influencer types. And they do that just to be in opposition to the working and poor class, in the sense of like, I'm buying this space that I most likely am not going to use and probably won't even discover each and every nook and cranny in this big ass hellscape, just so I can flaunt that I have the means to do so, because it's in opposition to you. And even when it comes to the wealth that is not distributed evenly, they aggregate all this wealth just so they can exert that dominance over the working and poor class. If you don't do what I say, you'll be out in these streets, and these streets are scary. So I get to exploit you. I get to wage theft you. I get to steal your time, because time is the only thing that you cannot gain back. And I get to deplete you. I get to humiliate you. I get to take your human rights. I get to not give you benefits. I get to do all these things as the small minority of this rich, wealthy class, just in opposition to you, just to take your agency, your autonomy, because that's what it means to be wealthy. So everything that we are experiencing, the majority of us human beings on this earth, we are the proletariat. We're going through these experiences because these small group of people feel as if they are the living embodiment of some entity, probably some, Abrahamic entity, but they feel like they are God. They feel like they are Jesus. They have this weird delusion that they think they are better than us, the majority. So therefore, they have a right to exploit us. They have a right to belittle us. They have a right to tell us, hey, you can't get an abortion, but guess what? Sorry, supply chain issues. You're going to have to find out how you're going to feed your baby. No more baby formulas. They get to manipulate and tell us that we don't have rights and we are human beings. We are all God's children. There's no one who can give or take away your rights by virtue of you being human. But then they come up with racism to class divide us, and for us to think that it's okay to treat one another less than human, and it's okay to think that we are more superior than another human. Meanwhile, the capitalist classes is both exploiting the racist and the victim. So when you see these experiences and you hear these things, I want you to see things from a class perspective, because honestly, everything can be seen through classism. Like, it's interesting that every Instagrammy girl, influencer girl, every little hot girl got a brand. They got a McDonald's deal, they got a Gucci deal, they got a Nike deal. Their whole lifestyle, their whole brand is how I'm so much richer than you. My life is better than you. My body's better than you. Like, my whole existence, my whole rap career is based off of how I'm better than you. But I need you to fund my lifestyle and for you to fund my brand by buying these merchandising. So buy the McDonald's, buy the Nikes, buy the Olympics, buy the this and the third that I'm selling. So I can go on record, on a wax, to tell you how much better I am than you while I'm exploiting you.
And let's be clear. The only time we hear from these little hot girls, these little Birkin swinging, fake ass, fake titties, fake lashes, heaven, Met Gala, idolizing Saudi lady mommies, the only time we hear anything other than pro-capitalism, pro-materialism is when that record deal be looking sketchy, okay? Them percentages don't be hitting like they thought it was. And next thing you know, they got a soapbox. Other than that, they don't say shit, but tell you when the new merch is dropping, when the new concert is happening. Other than that, shh, mum's the word. When was the last time you heard these little mommies talk about Roe versus Wade, or black women being murdered, or wealth disparity? Never? Me neither.
When you see things in a classist way, in a economic warfare way, you just cannot unsee it. And what I will say from personal experience, once you see it, you can't unsee it. But when you're having these conversations, especially with people you love, so this would be like your significant other, your family, your friends, your so on and so forth, you may have all the drip, all the knowledge of class warfare and see it from different perspective and sometimes challenge their opinions. Take it as sending a kid off to kindergarten. That's where you get your foundations. That's where you get your elementary, your grounding. So you learn your 1, 2, 3s, your ABCs. What you know is like advanced master level English. You can't teach that to a toddler. And when you're having these discussions about classism and how it affects us and how everything can be framed from a classist point of view, take it with baby steps, take it with grace, because a lot of what you're going to say is hot shit and it's hot fire, but it's going to threaten their very basis of what they perceive as reality. What do I mean by that? They still believe in the American dream. They still believe in American exceptionalism. They still believe in hard work and pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. They still believe in that. They still believe that anybody can be a millionaire, a billionaire. They do believe it's hard work. They believe in the propaganda, essentially. And when you hit them with like, but what about wealthy people consolidating wealth? What do I mean by that? Elon Musk's father owned a South African emerald mine. When you have enough money to own an emerald mine, of course your children are going to be successful. Hence Elon Musk. He never started from the bottom. He never started as a fry cook at McDonald's.
And from that wealth, Elon Musk was able to purchase PayPal after the fact, not in the trenches, coming up with the algorithm, coming up with presenting it to the capitalist system. Like, no. He bought it once it was already established. Like, we don't go and milk the cows. We just go to the grocery store and buy the milk. That's essentially what he did with PayPal. And that's essentially what he did with Tesla. He became a silent investor until he pushed out the original think tank behind Tesla, the inventors, the real builders. Pushed them out, bought the company, put his name on it, and next thing you know, y'all out here repeating propaganda from the media, thinking that he's a super genius, Elon, when really he's just a capitalist, because that's how capitalism works. So when we see this, we already know what it is, what it ain't. The average everyday person hustling and bustling, coming and going, ain't got time to read the Bible, damn sure ain't got time to really dissect their news, not the propaganda hand of the state, but the actual real factual things. They're not going to do the research. If the media says it, CNN says it, if Fox News says it, then it must be so.
And you can see the same pattern repeat in Hollywood. Kim Kardashian, her father was Robert Kardashian Sr. He was a well-known, well-respected, rich lawyer, a lawyer on the infamous O.J. Simpson case. Kim Kardashian went to the same school as Michael Jackson's nephew. Do y'all even go to the same Trader Joe's as a celebrity? Do you even know if a celebrity lives in your neighborhood? And are you even in their vicinity to even say a hi, bye real quick? No. How are you going to have a seat at the table if you don't even know the access code, ma? When you see things from a classist perspective, things start making sense. Why we are living in this capitalist hellscape. But when you have these conversations, take it slow. Because you might be ripping at the people you're giving this enlightenment to. And they very well much needed, especially when things really start getting wild. I mean, hell, baby formula is shortage, but then want to regulate your pussy? Like, what? Like, when shit really hits the fan where gas is like $10 a gallon, they're going to start thinking, oh shit, it's a me thing. I failed. I'm not successful. I didn't work hard enough. And you know the tea. It's capitalism. So sometimes people need to quote unquote feel the pain and they got to see it from themselves. They got to experience it for themselves. But don't push them off the ledge, especially politics. Politics get real spicy real quick. But take it slow. And when they do challenge you, when they do push back, don't take it personal. Because just like you had to learn, true tea, they're going to have to learn. Just like those who were like, oh, I'm a homeowner, you know, you renters, you don't know that life, whoop-de-whoop. 2008 housing market, it dragged the carpet right underneath their feet and they understood, right? So sometimes people got to go through things to understand it. You can guide them, but at the end of the day, you got to let them walk on their own. So that's what I wanted to put on your chest. Wealthy people's whole existence is how they get to live in opposition to you. That's the existence of wealth. how gaudy I can be, how loud I can be, how megalomaniac I can be, how narcissistic I can be. Remember y'all favorite LGBT queen, Ellen, giving people scholarships, giving people cores, giving people this and that. People thought she was the lesbian Santa Claus. Come to find out behind the scenes, she a whole monster. Like Nicki Minaj, a whole monster. Yeah. Mask on and mask off. And it's Hollywood. Everything smoke and mirrors. And true tea, a lot of what you see in Hollywood is very much funded by the government. Hence all these propaganda movies and even your superhero propaganda. When you start peeping how things are seen and framed from a classist point of view, you understand what's really going on, right? A lot of blacks are trying to disconnect from the Democratic Party, and I see it and I support it. But trust and believe me, you're going to have all the pro-blackness, black capitalists out there talking about black excellence is voted for the Democratic Party. You're going to have the Charlemagnes. You're going to have the Quarters, Beyonce and Jay-Z quarter. They might even throw in a Chloe if she's not tied in with her Booski getting caught up with Young Thug and that Rico charge or whatever. The death culture, that is hip hop. They're gonna throw in the Patrice Collins, the Black Lives Matter chick. They got the Tamika Mallory. They might even throw you in an Angela Davis bitch. They gonna throw in all the black excellences, and y'all gonna dance. Y'all gonna get the swag. Y'all gonna get the Beychella experience, and y'all gonna take your asses to the poll and check Democrat. As you always do, right? Well, life gets worse and worse off for you because they're not going to give you a Bernie. We saw that not happening twice. So as life gets worse and worse for you, they're going to keep dragging these black excellences to make you think because Charlamagne gets a book deal, Charlamagne gets a TV deal, Charlamagne gets a clothing line deal. Somehow, some way, that's supposed to be a reflection of you and your life. Some way, somehow, Beyonce getting this and the third Nobel Peace Prize means something about your motherfucking bills. Like, that's gonna pay your rent. Like, that's gonna put money in your savings. Somehow, some way, all these black excellences being in existence is benefiting you, right? Representation politics. Here you go. You wanted to be seen, now you seen. Through the lenses of a Rihanna, a billionaire, which you are not. But somehow, some way, that's going to reflect on your life, right? First black president, blackface imperialist, Obama, literally laughed about bombing black people, Somalian people, which is next to Kenya, where his daddy from. So, like, once you see things from a classist point of view, you understand what true tea is, right? These millionaires and billionaires, they not worried about climate change because ultimately they got underground bunkers at the end of the day. Like, that's just what that is. At the end of the day, they'll just fly to the next coast. They'll pick up these shit and move to Europe. Like, it's not really a big thing. But you, the working class, the poor class, do you got an underground bunker? Do you got a submarine? Can you fly coast to coast? Probably not. When you start seeing things from a classist point of view, you understand why you live in the reality that you live in. And also, after you get over the grieving, the 7, whatever stages of grief, once you get over that, you can start communing with your neighbors. You can start working with organizations and communities. And I promise you, you may not know they exist, but they exist. Whether it is city hall meetings, whether it is committees on climate change, whatever the case may be, whether it's a community garden, you can start communing and organizing and being more civically active in your communities. Because we are the working class. We are the poor class. We are the proletariat. We don't got no motherfucking submarines. We ain't got no motherfucking bunkers, underground bunkers, bitch. We can't fly on our private jets to the next coast, to the France, to Switzerland, to wherever. We gonna be fucked up in this bitch. Once you see it from a classist point of view. But I'm gonna continue enjoying myself. I suggest y'all do it so too. It is Sunday, self-care Sunday, and I definitely have taken some time out for that. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Everything that you'll need to know will be in the description box down below, just like every other YouTuber. And with that being said, y'all, I shall see you in the next video. Peace.